Good evening, brothers and sisters of Money Family Home. I'm Adeline, the host of Workshop 2, the Shravasti Learning Garden for Youth. I would like to welcome the guests in the house, especially the new guests. How are you guys today? Okay, the workshop will take 1.5 hours, and please be patient as some guests are having low bandwidth in their countries. We lost Rinpoche a few times during the workshop one, and we'll do our best here, and God bless. So let me quickly brief you on the program flow. First, we are having our young monks telling us short stories related to the arts of living. Then we have Rinpoche telling us the story of Guintara and the meaning of the mantra. And we go to group chanting of mantra. Then Rinpoche will guide us on meditation, and we are going to meditate for 5 minutes. We call this workshop, so we are going to do everything together, okay? So in the last session of this workshop, we are going to talk about anxiety issues with trained psychologists. After that, we open the floor for question and answer. Then we take a group photo. So stay with us till the end. For now, sit back and relax. Free your mind for 90 minutes. Pamper yourself in this house of positive energy. So we are honored to have our guru in the house, His Eminence Trisap Rinpoche and Miss Casey Chiang today in our workshop too. So thank you both for your time and effort. Thank you very much. 2 weeks ago in workshop 1, I had introduced Shravasti and why we named the project after Shravasti. If you missed that part, you may visit our YouTube link, Shravasti's Youth channel, for reference. So today I would like to share with you a short story of how Jetavana Park was built in Shravasti. Shravasti is one of the 6 largest cities in India during Lord Buddha's lifetime. It is situated on the bank of the Rapti River. It is the capital city of the kingdom of Kosala, located in the modern Gonda district of Uttar Pradesh. So in Shravasti, Lord Buddha set up his monastery in Jetavana Park. Can we show the top view of Jetavana Park? Yeah, this is we use drone to take this picture. So this is the Jetavana Park inside Shravasti. Okay, so talking about Jetavana Park in Shravasti, you will have to know a very important person, and he is Ananda Pindika. Ananda Pindika was a wealthy merchant and a banker, believed to have been the wealthiest merchant in Shravasti in the time of Lord Buddha. He is considered to have been the chief male patron of the Buddha. So for guests who used to recite sutra in Chinese, you will be very familiar with this phrase in Amitabha Sutra or Ami Tuo Jie. 如是我闻，一时佛在舍卫国，其数即孤独园，以大比丘僧1250人。舍卫城 is Shravasti. 其树园 is Jetavana Park. 孤独记长老 is Ananda Pindika. So you get the whole story clear of who they are. So following Ananda Pindika's first encounter with the Buddha, he requested to offer him a meal, which the Buddha accepted. And then he asked Buddha to set up a monastery in his hometown of Shravasti, to which the Buddha agreed. Shortly after, Ananda Pindika went back to Shravasti to search for a place to build the monastery. Looking for a place that was both accessible to followers and peacefully secluded, he came across a park belonging to the Prince Jeta. So just now I mentioned Jetavana Park, and now we are talking about Prince Jeta. Okay, Prince Jeta is the son of the king of Kosala. Ananda Pindika offered to buy the park from the prince, but the prince refused. After Ananda Pindika persisted, the prince said he would sell him the park, only if he could cover it with gold coins, thinking nobody would accept such a price. So to the prince's surprise, Ananda Pindika agreed. So when Prince Jeta stated that he was not being serious and still would not sell the park, so Ananda Pindika and the prince went to arbitrators, who concluded that the prince had to sell the park at a agreed price. The coins Ananda Pindika bought cover all the park except one spot at the entrance. Ananda Pindika sent the order for more pieces to be bought, but having been inspired by Ananda Pindika's good intention, Prince Jeta finally donated the remaining land and offered to build a wall and gate for the monastery, as well as provide trees for timber. So this is not a folklore. This is a true story. Ananda Pindika is a human. Okay. So Lord Buddha spent 25 years, the greater part of his monastic life in Shravasti. Buddha spent longer in Shravasti than any other places, giving the most discourses and teachings. So according to Woodward, 871 sutras have been preached in Shravasti, of which 844 of those in Jetavana Park, 23 in Pubarama. Pubarama is another town in Shravasti, and 4 sutras in the suburbs of Shravasti. So behind me, you can see the living room. On the left is the living room of Lord Buddha, this one. We call it Ganda Kuti, or the house of fragrance. And on my right is the house of Ananda Pindika. So this building structure was built 2,560 years ago, 2,560 years ago. Okay. So Shravasti symbolizes the root of Buddhism and also the educational hub where Lord Buddha educated his people. Thus, starting a learning platform in the name of Shravasti for youth is relevant at this time. The Shravasti Learning Garden is online workshop where we invite Guruji, experts, and layman professionals to teach us Dharma, meditation, yoga, mindfulness, fitness, wellness, arts, culture, literature, and arts of living. So we hope that this online learning platform will reach out and benefit young people from all over the world, and it is non-sectarian. So we are using this platform to spread good teachings to the young generation and hope that we can bring the young force and energy back to this 2,560-year-old sacred place of Buddhism. On this platform, we emphasize very much on methodology and applications. Here in workshop 2, we insert 2 new sessions. The first one is the storytelling session where we invite and encourage young monks, nuns, and young fellow Buddhists to share good stories that carry good messages, with the objective to influence and inspire. So we also hope that through this platform, we will help the young talent to build up their confidence in public speaking, especially in English. So here I would like to introduce the first storyteller. That is our Lama Tashi Tunduk from Drikung Kaju lineage, India. And he is in Ladakh right now. So hopefully your line works, Tashi. Now I pass the screen to Tashi.
Okay. Good evening to everyone. I represent Drikung Kagyu Institute, which is the main seat of Drikung Kagyu in India. Currently, I am speaking from Ladakh Phayang Monastery. First of all, before reading my story, I would like to thank Madam Edlin Lim and her team for create this online platform named Shravasti Learning Garden for Youth, which is very wonderful platform to enhance youth's knowledge about Buddhism and through and a way of life during such a pandemic time of this era. So today I'm going to read a story named Kisa Gotami. Before reading this story, I would like to share 2 reasons why I chose this story in this workshop. First, this story was took place in Shravasti during the Buddha's lifetime, and so the story is very much relatable to this online platform, which is Shravasti Learning Garden for Youth. So, secondly, the meaning from this story is very much helpful to today's young generation to understand the life and its how to deal with the life and its bad situation and other negative emotions. So uh, I'm going to read the short story of Kisa Gotami. Kisa Gotami was a young woman from a wealthy family who was happily married to an important merchant from Shravasti. When her only son was 1 year old, he fell ill and died suddenly. Kisa Gotami was struck with grief. She could not bear the death of her only child. Weeping and groaning, she took her dead baby in her arms and went from house to house, begging all the people in the town for news of a way to bring her son back to life. Of course, nobody could help her, but Kisa Gotami would not give up. Finally, she came across a Buddhist who advised her to go and see the Buddha himself. When she carried the dead child to the Buddha, Buddha told her, uh, sorry, told him her sad story. Buddha listened with patience and compassion, and then said to her, Kisa Gotami, there is one way to solve your problem. Go and find me 4 or 5 master seeds from any family in which there has never been a death. Kisa Gotami was filled with hope. She set off straight away to find such a household, but very soon she discovered that every family she visited had experienced the death of one person or another. At last, she understood what the Buddha had wanted her to find out for herself, that suffering is a part of life and death comes to us all. Once Kisa Gotami accepted the fact that death is inevitable, she could stop her grieving. Death is inevitable. She took the child's body away and later returned to the Buddha to become one of Buddha's follower. Uh, so this is the end of the story, which is very short, and the meaning from this story is very helpful and very important. Uh, so I'm going to explain a bit about this story and much. um, when we don't understand the fact of life and death and other negative emotions and other bad events of the life, we stuck with the grief and unnecessary suffering and worry. Um, because of that, many people uh, mm, stuck with anxiety and depression and other mental disease. Uh, to get solve such anxiety and depression, we have to understand the life's truth. Uh, for example, we have to understand the impermanence of life and everything that is conditional, which is subject to change with the time. If we have happy situation, it will also get changed with the time, and we are in a bad situation, it will also change with the time. So we have to understand this concept, and we have to be present. We have to be uh, in the present moment, and we have to deal with every situation. Once we accepted the fact about the life and beyond, we uh, cannot we are not going to uh, suffer unnecessarily. And once we accepted the fact, of life, and we, our bad situation and good situation is also going to be changed with the time, then we can feel peace, and we become confident to face our problems in life. So and we are also will not get proud when we are happy, and when we are not get depressed when we are in a bad situation. So from this story, uh, uh, first Kisa Gautami was not ready to accept the fact of life, that her only child was dead, and she could not accept the um, death. So she grieved in a very much level, and she went to house to find a way to bring her child lives back. So later, when she met Buddha, Buddha skillfully showed her the way to understand by herself the fact of death. Later, she was wise enough to understand that everyone have to die one day, and death is inevitable for everyone in this world. So finally, she understood and accepted the fact. Then only her grief and sorrow and worry get lessened, and she become calm and peaceful. So from this lesson, we have to accept the facts of the life and beyond, and then we have to be present, and we have to find purpose in life to be free from anxiety and depression. If we don't have purpose in life, so we are easily get up with this anxiety and depression. So we have to find our purpose in our life, and not only finding purpose in life, but also we have to work towards the purpose. So if we can't work towards our goal or purpose, we have to take baby step. From day to day, we have to work 1 hour to 2 hour in a day towards our goal. So gradually, we become used to it, and our work for our goal is become automatically easy for our lives. So in this way, our life become joyful, and also our goal or purpose will be successfully achieved in the end. So therefore, we have to don't think much about our future, and we don't have to lose ourselves in the past memories and past sad events. So we have to be in present moment. So so we can focus more on our implementation towards our goal and purpose. So this is the way I think we can happily lead our life towards successful life. So that's all. I'm going to stop here. Uh, I pray for all to get free from this pandemic era, and I will pray for you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Lamatashi. Good one. Okay, right now we have Baik Sunim from Musangsa Temple from Korea. Hello, hi Sunim, how are you? And we are very glad to have you here tonight.
Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to join this class, and that's my pleasure to be here. So I'm from Korea. My name is Popil, and originally I'm from Russia. So I practice Zen in Quantum School, and our school founding teacher is Zen Master Sung Sang. So the story is about his grand teacher. I'd like to read the story. So his teacher, the great Zen Master Mangong, he became a monk when he was only 13 years old. These days you need to finish high school to get monk, but he became such a young age. He was the attendant to a busy sutra master, Tonghaksa Temple, which at the time was the most famous sutra temple in Korea. The best sutra monks from all over the country traveled to Tonghaksa to study the Buddha's teaching. One day there was a big graduation ceremony for the monks' college. According to tradition, the senior monk ascended the high rostrum to give a formal speech. After sitting down and adjusting his ceremonial robes, it's very important to proper posture, proper robes. The monk said, "You must all continue to study correctly and become like great trees from which temples are built, and like large bowls, able to hold many good things." An ancient poet once wrote, "Water takes the shape of its vessel. Human beings conform to the company they keep." So today you are all graduating. That's very wonderful. If from now on you make friends with good and virtuous people, you will naturally become good and virtuous and fulfill your greatest obligation to heaven. But if you associate with bad people who follow a bad way, you will eventually become bad. Always keep the Buddha in mind and only keep good company. Then you will become great trees and containers of Dharma. This is my advice to you. Of course, everybody liked this speech. Sitting in the back of the Buddha hall, young attendant Manggong Sanim also thought, "Oh, that's wonderful teaching." And all the monks were very happy. But when he returned to his seat, the senior monk turned to a strange-looking figure sitting on the side. He was clothed in rags and long hair and long thin beard. The monk was a really imposing figure among the all shaven-headed monks. But though his appearance was unkempt, his big monk's eyes shone like diamonds. He was none other than Zen Master Kyonho, who just happened to be visiting the temple. He was known all over the country as one of the greatest masters in the history of Korean Buddhism. I want to say that time the society was so strict and everybody followed the rules. So this kind of monk for that time, it was really necessary. So the Sutra Master asked, "Please, Zen Master, give us one word." Without looking up, Kyonho Sunim only shook his head. "No, no, I'm only a wanderer passing through. I have nothing to say." Then Kyonho Sunim fell silent. "Please, Sunim, today is such an important day." The younger monks also implored him to speak. So after several more moments of silence, Kyonho Sunim ascended the high rostrum. He said, "All of you are monks. Monks are free of petty personal attachments and live only to serve all beings. Wanting to become a great tree or a container of dharma will prevent you from being a true teacher. Great trees used in their own way, none are to be discarded. Rather, you must become great carpenters. If you are a good carpenter, you never throw away big trees or small trees, or good trees or bad trees. A skillful carpenter can use any tree in his work. He never discards a single thing. Good and bad don't matter. If good things come, you must know their proper use. If bad things come, you must also know how to use them correctly. Don't attach to the good or push away the bad. You must use good and bad and make them correct. So keep both good and bad friends and never reject anything. This is true Buddhism. My only wish for you is that you free yourselves from all conceptual thinking." So I found this story very helpful. Of course, every one of us have good friends and bad friends. And when I look at some bad friends, there is some idea already when I look at this person. So I decided after I read this story, I realized maybe I can find something good in my bad friends. And eventually with the practice, one of my bad friends, he became my good friend. The same about good situation, bad situation in our teaching. So this kind of shutdown, coronavirus, for most monks in Korea, it just became a good opportunity to look back at ourselves and reflect. And as nobody's visiting, it's more concentrated practice, and we can stay in our temple and practice. So for all of also lay people can do that, can just find any time, and don't waste time for something else. You can just do practice. That might be very helpful. And thank you very much. Yeah, I can share.
Thank you, Sunil. We would like to know more Zen stories in the coming workshop. Hope that you will join us in the next few months. Classes. Okay, how is the situation in Korea right now? I mean, COVID-19, is it under control?
Yes, these days it was some shutdown and they couldn't allow any gatherings, but just today I heard some news that it was like 2.5 level. Now it's down to second level, so it's kind of little less strict than before, and there are some like up to 50 people maybe can gather together, so little better now.
Please keep well. And I forgot to ask Lamatashi, how is the situation in India right now? From news we saw like yesterday 94,000 cases in India. So is your place affected, Lamatashi?
Higher in day. So yesterday's case was like 94, 95,000 in 24 hours. So it is very much number. So here in Ladakh itself, it comes like 40 to 50 cases in a day. There are, fortunately few deaths in Ladakh so far. So nowadays we are, locked down. We don't have lockdown, but we, ourselves isolated in monastery and far from the city. So it's going good for the monks who live in monastery and also the villagers. Most of the people, went away from the city and they are staying in the village to self-isolation. So hopefully it will get less the number of coronavirus cases in India. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. And today we have a few doctors in the house. Later, if you have some question, you may ask them. I think they are very helpful. Okay. So we continue to the second session. For second workshop of section 1, we focus on the story of Tara. So I would like to introduce Tara to the new guest again. Tara appears as female Buddha in Buddhism. She is known as the mother of liberation. Tara is also known as Dolma, D-O-L-M-A, which translates to she who saves. There are 21 forms of Tara. Each of them represents unique qualities. So in workshop 1, we talked about white Tara. Today, we are going to introduce to you the green Tara. So we are honored to have His Eminence Trisat Rinpoche to be here today, telling us the story of green Tara. So after the storytelling, Rinpoche will explain the meaning of the mantra of green Tara and the purpose of reading Qi Qing Wen before we recite the mantra. Then Rinpoche will transmit 3 times of green Tara mantra. We repeat after him. After that, all of us will sing the mantra together for 5 minutes. So before we proceed, it is my honor to introduce our guru in the house, His Eminence Trisat Rinpoche, to you. Let us put our hands together and thank Rinpoche for his kindness for giving us the precious teaching tonight. Rinpoche, please. That is another problem of having this Facebook Live, because Rinpoche's line is very weak in Shimla. Trisat Rinpoche is right now in Shimla, India. I forgot to bring the photo of Shimla to you. It is on the highland. So I think his line dropped out again. So admin, can you please get Rinpoche back in?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here today, and I'm that youth from so many countries gather here at Shravasti uh, Learning Garden to learn and practice something good in life. Today I'm going to tell you the story of Green Thara. Green Thara is the most popular from the Thara. She is the spiritual concept of Amonga city, who is a green Buddha. Amonga city is one of the five Tadaks or five wisdom Buddha. But Thara and Amonga cities are connected with the element of air, which is also associated color. There are many versions of the story of the Green Thara. One story tell of our Avalokiteshvara looking down from his heaven onto the world of beings, and he was very sad seeing many of them suffer in pain. He started to weep from the tears streaming down his face. Two Tharas were born, White Thara from the left and Green Thara from the right. Another story tells that Green Thara was a princess named Wisdom Moon, who was very devoted to the Dharma and had a deep meditation practice. She was close to enlightenment when a monk told her that she was in the body of a woman and she would have to come back in the next life as a man. Before she could become enlightened, the princess showed her understanding of the absolute truth, saying, here there is a no man, there is a no woman, no self, and no person. Being male or female is not important. She went on to make the following vow: those who wish to attain supreme enlightenment in a man body are many, but those who wish to serve the aim of being in a human body are few. Therefore, I may, until this world is empty, work for the benefit of a sentient being in a human body. So from that time onward, the princess dedicated herself to realizing complete enlightenment. Once she accomplished that goal, she came to be known as Green Thara, liberator. Green Thara is the wisdom Buddha or mother of liberation. When we face hardship in life, we turn to the Green Thara for help. She protects us from immediate dangers, provides us with all our temporal needs, and guides and encourages us in our learning and personal and spiritual development. Green Thara rescues us from the 8 outer fears, like the fears of a lion, elephants, fire, snakes, thieves, water, bondage, and evil spirits, which symbolize the 8 inner fear. The fear of pride, ignorance, and uh, jealousy, wrong view, attachment, missed lines, and deluded doubts. Let us look at the image of Gintara. Her left leg cross represent the skin force even during intense disturbance. Her right leg half open shows her willingness and readiness to go help living beings. Her left hand is in the mudra of protections. Her thumb and index together represent the union of uh, wisdom and energy. The 3 other fingers represent the 3 joys, the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Her right hand in the mudra of giving, signifying the she accords all the ordinary accomplishment and sublime accomplishments. Now let me introduce the mantra of Gintara to you. So the mantra is Om Tare Tudare Ture Soha. It's a Gintara mantra. So what does the mantra means? Yeah. Then Om is used at the start of many mantras. It may refer to our body, speech, and mind. Then Tare, it is the liberation from samsara, or this we call the world, the society, world. Tudare, it is the liberation from the 8 fears. There are 8 fears related to the external dangers from like fire, water, air, earth, and also from such thing as like thieves and dangerous animals. However, the main dangers come from like we have ignorance, attachment, anger, pride, jealousy, mislines, and doubt, wrong views. These 8 disturbing thoughts that you have in your mind are the main danger. So then Ture means physical disease. And then Soha, it means establishing the root, the path with our heart. In other words, by taking refuge in Thara and doing Thara practice, we see of Thara in our own heart. So this gives the root of the path. So with this, Thara is said to liberate us from the suffering we are inflicted with, while helping us to on path with Allah have companion. Yes.
Hi, Rinpoche.
Yeah.
I think your line is, the bandwidth is very, very low. We cannot hear it clearly, but it is okay. We try to
Okay.
assist. For those who don't did not get the whole story clearly, please do email to us, and then we try to send you the text. So now, please, Rinpoche, this time that before we recite the mantra, always we need to recite the teaching one, right? So right now, you would like Rinpoche
Yes.
to teach us the teaching one, and then also please transmit the mantra 3 times to us. Rinpoche, please.
Okay. Yes. So first, I'm going to give oral transmissions. This oral transmission is very important. So it's our Buddhism, or this we call Vajrayana, or so our tradition. Lineage is very important. So this Tara is also emanation of Buddha. So lineage also from Buddha to until now. So my guru. So now I'm giving all these transmissions. So first, without if you do not have a lineage, so then you will be not get a blessing. So that's why lineage is very important. We are seeing unbreakable lineage, from Buddha to then lineage until Maya. So then now, so as you know, I already told you in during this last hour White House explanation time, life story time. So reciting a mantra is very important. So to develop your all like love and compassion. This is a very important. We need love and compassion in our life. Without love and compassion, we cannot do anything. We cannot help to others and benefit to others. So love and compassion is very important to everyone, even like animal, they need a love to each other, care to each other. So if animal need this kind of love to each other, how they live, compassion. Also, so human, of course, we need this precious love and compassion. So now I'm going to give this transmission. Okay. Om Tare Tudare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tudare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tudare Ture Soha.
So, Rinpoche, Thank you.
Yes, please.
If you are not familiar with the mantra, I mean, to all the participants, you may screenshot or note it down. Now we are going to have group chanting for 5 minutes. So calm your mind, just follow the music, and we are going to chant for 5 minutes.
Om tare tu re so ha. 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 Om tare tu tare ture so ha 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 om tare tu tare ture so ha.
So we completed the 5 minutes of mantra, and thank you, Rinpoche, for the oral transmission. Is Rinpoche back in here? Is Rinpoche back in here? Okay, by right. I think the bandwidth in Shimla is really, really bad now. And I heard also the Sikkim area, there are big rain. So many of the participants also not able to log on. Okay, by this time, we are supposed to go into the meditation led by Rinpoche. But Rinpoche is, I don't know when he's coming back again. So we will just continue with another session first, okay? For this session, I want to know that who participated in workshop 1, and do you have any question about the meditation session? Would you like to do and like discuss? Because last session or last workshop, Rinpoche was teaching us about meditation on impermanence, and meditation on precious human body. So we did 2.5 minutes for one session, and many of the participants also asked what's the difference between these two. So this session actually Rinpoche is going to explain a lot more on these two sessions and what is the difference and what we should do in each session. So Rinpoche, is it back in? I don't think so. So I think we will go into another session, which is this is a very interesting session that we are going to talk about anxiety disorder. Today, this is a new session in workshop 2, and other than the young participants, we also invite parents to join in this Zoom session. So new survey shows that alarming growth in level of anxiety and depression among the young people. More than 1 in 5 adolescents suffer from severe anxiety, reported in My Worst Survey 2, a major study on youth mental health. In Western countries, people tend to be more open to mental sicknesses, and it is quite normal for people to seek professional help. However, in Asian communities, mental health issues are rarely discussed. Asians tend to avoid mental health services because being engaged in such services means that we are admitting that we have mental health problems and may cause shame to the family. If personal issues become public, it becomes shame to the family. So therefore, we would like to break this norm here. We would like to discuss this topic, anxiety, depression, anger, on Shravasti Learning Garden platform. I'm honored to have Miss Casey Chiang to be here today. Casey is a clinical psychologist, and she works with adolescents and adults on a wide range of conditions such as depression, anxiety, OCD, and chronic stress. She has a long-standing interest in mindfulness and has been practicing it for the last 10 years. She is a trained teacher, mindfulness in school project in UK, and an apprentice teacher of the Oxford Mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, Oxford Mindfulness Center. So good evening, Ms. Chiang. Are you in here? Welcome on board. I have a few questions for you, and I believe these are the questions that most of the young people and their parents will be interested in.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, thank you, Adeline. I think all of us is from Asia, so a very good evening to the venerables and all the participants. And I think I see Gexiu here too. Hi,
Yes, she is.
Gexiu, my friend, from Malaysia. Yeah, I think this is very eye-opening, to learn about Shravasti. So it is a great honor, to be invited to this platform.
Yes, we have been working very hard to develop this place called Shravasti in India for the past 5 years.
It's amazing, yeah.
So it's a great effort of my guru, His Holiness Drikon Chetsan, his far vision, and he wanted to develop this place. It's a desert. So we went there and we helped to develop and restore. And today we have a center of 70 retreat rooms, and it is non-sectarian. It is offered to all the legitimate NGOs or organizations to do legitimate activities in Shravasti.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So hopefully one day in future we can go there for a camp.
When this whole COVID-19 craziness is over.
Yes. So Ms. Chiang, anxiety and depression are the two of the most common mental issues that young adults face, and it is beginning to take a serious toll in schools. Normally, these issues go unnoticed, especially to parents or even to teachers or friends, and these teens are blamed and punished for their behavioral problems, for poor performance and learning and unpredictable behaviors. So can Ms. Casey tell us how many types of anxiety disorders are commonly found in the young community?
Okay, I guess first maybe I clarify the difference between anxiety and anxiety disorder. I think all of us experience anxiety. Anxiety is a feeling of fear, unease, worry, anticipating that something bad is going to happen. And all of us human experience anxiety. Before, while I was sitting here thinking of what to say, I experienced some kind of anxiety, because I'm just thinking whether would I say the right thing, would I give enough information? So that's anxiety. However, anxiety disorder is different in a sense that, or maybe I won't say it's different, it is a spectrum. Yeah, you have anxiety on one, you feel some anxiety, and as they continue to intensify, it just go into the spectrum of a disorder. So when anxiety is excessive, it means that we can't stop worrying. The feeling of worry is very intense. It becomes a little bit out of control. And the worry actually stops us from leading a normal life. Like not going to school, we can't socialize. That is becoming a disorder, or it is becoming an illness. Yeah. So I think your question, I'll answer your question now about how many types of anxiety disorder. So in psychiatry, the category of anxiety disorder, there are different types. And when you mention that it is, which one is common among young people, I don't have the statistics, but what I would say is all these anxiety disorder affect people of all ages, even children, young children. Yeah. So one of them that I will go through a few. So one of them is called general anxiety disorder. So general anxiety disorder is when a person is persistently worried about many things. It's not just one thing. Yeah, it's the kind of worry about a lot of things, and usually magnifying the disastrous outcome, and it's getting out of control. So the characteristics of general anxiety disorder is excessive worry, and worry about many, many things. Yeah. The other one is panic disorder. In my practice, I noticed that panic disorder is actually quite common. And panic disorder is slightly different from general anxiety disorder. It is about panic attack. Usually a person could have experienced a panic attack. I will explain panic attack afterwards. A lot of people has experienced panic attack, yeah, but I'm going to give the symptoms later on. So when a person has experienced panic attack, and after that, the person has this persistent fear that it may recur. So the person kind of look out for it. And the fear will lead to more panic attack. Yeah. It become very overwhelming. It become very debilitating. And the result is the person is so fearful that a panic attack may happen that it may have stopped the person from doing things that they're supposed to do. Like they may not go out shopping because they are worried that they may faint in public. They may have a panic attack. So it's actually quite debilitating panic disorder. Now, specific phobia, I think it is something that a lot of people has heard of. It is about a very intense fear about an object or a situation. Like fear of flying. Some people just couldn't get themselves up on a plane. Claustrophobia is fear of confined space, that some people couldn't get into the lift. I have known of people who is so fearful of like snake. All of us is fearful of snake, but a phobia is different. Now this person, even looking at the picture of a snake, creates intense fear to this person. So you can see that it is very excessive and very intense. Now another anxiety disorder that I would like to talk about, maybe this is an anxiety disorder that perhaps quite specific to young people. It's called social anxiety disorder. It is a fear of being judged. It's a fear of being rejected, or fear of being humiliated when you do something, So because of the fear, the person may avoid social function, may skip classes, even doing errands can be difficult, like ordering a meal, going to a shop to buy something, because of this constant fear of maybe I'm doing the wrong thing and I embarrass myself. It's like this, somebody keep watching every move that you make. So that's social anxiety disorder. For children, the most common is separation anxiety. When a child cannot be separated from the caregiver, even for a moment, very, very clingy with intense fear, that's separation anxiety. And for school-going children, separation anxiety sometimes lead to school refusal, meaning that children who refuse to go to school. Usually it is a part of anxiety. So these are generally a few types of anxiety disorder that affect, like say, people in general.
So the occasional anxiety is normal, right? But comes,
of course,
we are human. Yes, but now I'm quite anxious because everybody went this
exactly. Yes, yeah. In this Zoom era, there's a lot of anxiety because we do not know what to do when the line drop. There's anxiety because we are anticipating something bad's going to happen, anticipating that what we plan is not going to happen, what people are going to think of me, that kind of thing. Yeah, that's normal. Yes.
So, Miss Casey, what is normal and when should we seek professional help? To what extent? We need that. You need to see the doctor. The kind of thing.
Okay. Like I say, it is a spectrum. So it's not like you just draw a line, once you cross this line and then it becomes a disorder. Yeah. So like I mentioned just now, when it becomes a disorder is when the functioning is affected, when you cannot lead your normal life. Yeah. And in anxiety disorder, one of the things that we need to look out for is avoidance behavior. Yeah. Now, how does anxiety arise? It arises because our brain is telling us that there's impending danger. Yeah, something not right is going to happen and it may bring harm to ourselves. And it is human nature, it is human survival instinct that we need to do something about it to avoid the danger. That's why avoidance behavior is actually a natural outcome of anxiety. But if the anxiety is so severe that the avoidance behavior becomes an obstacle to our normal life, like what I mentioned just now, you can't go out, you can't do your daily things. And like people with panic disorder, it's very common that they feel the panic and they run to the hospital emergency department. I see quite a few panic disorder clients. They can't work. They can't work because they are so afraid that if they go to the office, they have a panic, they can't get help. Some of them, they are afraid to travel. You know, if they go to a foreign place, they do not know where the hospitals are. If something were to happen, they do not know what to do. Or some of them, wherever they want to go, they want to make sure that they are close to a hospital, they are close to a clinic, or there must be somebody who go with them, right? So this is already affecting a normal life. So I would say that this is one of the thing to look at. Yeah, when the avoidance behavior becoming it is becoming more and more. So what I would say is, to have avoidance behavior is very normal. It's like, let's say we have an exam, right? We get anxious about the exam. So you have this urge. It's like, I know I don't want to go. But usually we can overcome. We will still go, right? Now it is becoming a disorder if that I don't want to go, I'm afraid to go, is getting so strong that it's going to happen, or it happened. That means we don't go for exam. That is going into the spectrum of disorder, and it is time the person ought to consider whether, you know, to seek help or not. Yeah. Other things to look out for, okay, like you said, as parents or as friends, to look out for a change in behavior, like avoidance again, not going to places that they used to go, not enjoying activities that they used to enjoy, poor sleep, poor appetite, and actually irritability. If a person who is usually not irritable and suddenly you find the person is so irritable, so all this change of behavior may indicate that the person is moving towards the spectrum of disorder. It may not be a disorder yet, but it's moving towards, and it is good to start doing something about it. The other thing is panic attack. Like I mentioned, we want to talk about panic attack. Yeah. Now, panic attack is a very common symptom of all kinds of anxiety disorder. It is a physical reaction, fight or flight reaction. And the symptoms of panic attack will be heartbeat really, really fast. It's like the heart, like some people say the heart's going to jump out from my mouth. That kind of feeling. Tightness on the chest, shortness of breath, cold sweat, trembling, the knees are very weak. And some very severe panic attack, some people have this thought that, that they're going to die. There is a derealization. It's like, I'm there and not there. So these are symptoms of panic attack. And these symptoms, unfortunately, is very close to symptoms of heart attack. That's why people with panic attack, somehow, people with panic attack will run to the A&E department of hospital, thinking that it is possibly a heart attack. Yeah, so it is actually very scary. Yeah, it is scary to have this panic attack. Now let's see. Now children. Okay. Now how can we pick up, especially children? Now children is actually quite tough, I would say. Children is quite difficult because separation anxiety is actually very common in young children. Yeah. fear of stranger is very common in young children. And in a way, it's not, it's okay, it's good, you know. You do not want a child that completely have no fear of strangers, you know, that may put the child in danger. So the question is like what you asked, when to seek help, okay? What I would say is for parents with young children, I think you know your children. Again, change your behavior. Yeah, nightmare, not eating, basically, you know, you think that this is not the way that your child used to behave. And also, I think as parents, parents will probably know when a child is fearful, what kind of crying, you know. If it's a tantrum cry, it is a hunger cry, it is a diaper wet cry. It's different from the crying when the child is in fear. So parents will be able to pick up the intensity of the fear that the child is facing. Body language, facial expression, you know. So like nightmare is one of the things that parents could look out for. Again, for school-going children, school refusal is a sign. Yeah. So if a child start to refuse school very strongly, you know, crying, showing a lot of fear going to school, parents need to start investigating because there could be many possible factors. It could be school bully, it could be academic pressure, it could be that one particular teacher that is so fierce, you know. So these are the things that parents could look out for. Yeah, and friends, you know, if friends, if you're adults, you know, you look out for your friends. Family members, you look out for your family members. And for self too, you know, to be aware of this spectrum that I was talking about.
Miss Casey,
Yeah.
all of us experience something like we have somebody like that in our family. Like me, I have somebody who's like anxious all the time during my school days, my roommate, you know. So
Yeah.
What are the fundamental things that we should do to support these people?
I think you said something very apt in the beginning about stigma. Yeah. Mental illness is a stigma. Even before I become a clinical psychologist, I'm very hesitant to use the word mental illness. No, I try to change the words, like, you know, you have some mental challenges, you know, try to be politically correct. Yeah, but what is wrong with mental illness? I ask myself, you know, it's like, what is wrong if you have cold and cough, you know, if you have a flu, what is wrong with that? So I think the first thing is to understand that it is not a weakness, it is not a shame to have mental illness. So one thing for anxiety, let's say specifically anxiety, I have come across some of my clients who told me that they couldn't talk to their friends, they couldn't talk to their parents, because when they kind of beginning to open up and say that, you know, I feel really anxious, and the response is that, it's okay, everybody feels anxiety, you know, don't worry about it, it's okay. I think I can understand that when parents or friends would say that, basically it's out of good intention. Basically is to reassure you, you know, it's okay, you know, you normalize it, you know, it's not a big deal. But the downside is the person will pull back. The person will not continue to talk about it. And the person may also think that there's something wrong with me, you know. What's wrong with me? Am I weak? So I would say that if friends, your children or family members are beginning to talk about anxiety or anything about, you know, something that's disturbing them, listen. I think empathetic listening, active listening, acknowledge the anxiety, acknowledge their fear. No matter how irrational is their fear, acknowledge it, you know. Yeah. So that they were beginning to open up, beginning to see that it's not that they're crazy, you know. Some people actually ask me, you know, am I crazy? You know, I'm thinking this way, I'm feeling this way. Yeah. The other thing is, I think maybe in Asian culture, there is this misperception that mental illness is weak, spiritually weak, mentally weak. If you're strong, if you're spiritually strong, you will not get mental illness. Yeah. So assure your friends, your child, that it's okay, it's not because you're mentally weak or you're spiritually weak. That's why you're having mental illness. So encourage them to seek help. You can a few things that a person can do, whether you're friends or your family or parents. You can actually help. You can help them to find mental health professionals. You may know some people like I think like Vixiu. Now that you know me, ask around. You can help. I know this person. Who has seen this person. They may be helpful. You don't push them, but you kind of give suggestion. If you need to, some of them need accompany. If you have the time and the space, you can accompany them. And for parents, it is important to cooperate with the therapist. Parents are a very important support for their children. But at the same time, I understand there are some parents here. At the same time, do respect your child's privacy. Sometimes you will find that your child doesn't want to tell you a lot of things. So in the teenagers who come and see me, they'll tell mom, you go, I talk to my therapist alone. So this is normal, don't take it as a rejection, yeah, because everyone needs certain privacy. Your child might feel embarrassed to talk about it, or they may think that it is something that you may not understand. And a lot of times it's because they don't want to worry you as parents. Yeah, so allow them to have the privacy. When they are comfortable, they will tell you. When they feel safe, and they trust you, they will talk. Yeah. So what I would say is be there for them, especially parents, because home is a sanctuary for the children. It's very important that you allow the children to feel safe at home. And talking about support, this is something I want to take this opportunity to talk about. It is something like I feel very strongly about. There is this myth that young people lack of resilience. Young people are susceptible to mental illness. I strongly believe that it is a myth. It is just a perception. I am actually quite happy that young people talk about mental illness a lot more now. I have a client who actually met me in a public place, and she actually announced to her friend, "Hey, this is my therapist." I'm so proud of her, to be able to open up and talk about it. So it is not true that young people have more mental illness. It is because they are more open to talk about it. Yeah. And to the young people, also don't blame your parents, for not understanding, because psychology, mental illness is something very, very new in our culture. Yeah. Clinical psychology in Malaysia, probably about 20 years, it's a very short history, and we only have about 200 clinical psychologists in Malaysia. So in the past, there was very little opportunity for education and awareness. Yeah, so but things I think are getting better. There are more people getting more education.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Casey.
Welcome.
I have two more questions, but I
Do we
talked
have
to you
time?
last a little bit more because we still have to go through the meditation session.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But now we are very pleased that there are two medical specialists joining us tonight. And I would like to, hi, Dr. Chun. How are you? Are you there?
Yeah, hello.
Hi, Dr. Chun. Dr. Chun is a pediatrician, and I have a question for you. Will children get anxiety disorder, and normally at what age? And Is anxiety caused by nutrient deficiency?
All right. Well, thank you, Adeline, for inviting me on board this platform. I think I've so far find it so beneficial for myself as well. Yeah, I think Casey mentioned about anxiety, separation anxiety. So I think in the child's development, we do have a stage we call stranger anxiety, which, you know, kind of onset at the age of 9 months or sometimes plus minus 2 year. Yeah, and so there are, as you know, emotion can actually influence what we eat. So I think what we eat can also kind of influence our mood, right? So vice versa. And we know that research has shown that anxiety is kind of related to high stress hormones. And for example, when you have adrenaline, cortisol in your blood system, or you have high inflammatory markers, and a certain food can kind of cause this elevation. And of course, the other is neurotransmitters, which is associated with the mood of the individual. So in a natural sense, when we talk about the food that we pick to eat, it can kind of influence, especially if you are at an increased risk of having anxiety. You know, sometimes we call it a trait. Yeah. So I think, you know, there are many Dharma brothers and sisters from the Himalaya, and you know, it's such a blessing that, you know, the Himalaya range are actually blessed with, you know, a lot of what they call super nutritious food. And you know, we've been with a group of friends to the Himalayan countries, and you can't go by without eating, you know, very popular food like momo, champa, what else, you know, your butter tea. So it's just very different when you talk about the Western food culture. You have to look at your own Himalayan food culture, which is very rich, and it's just a matter of, you know, keeping to the traditional, because you already been blessed with all this super nutritious food. So example for sambar is, I think, can be a roasted barley or wheat, and you know, you eat with yak butter, and it's actually nutritious, and it's actually has good nutrition value, which actually they are called brain boosting. You know, they have brain boosting properties, which actually help reduce your anxiety levels. And the other really what we call anti-anxiety food, which help, is turmeric. You know, it's been shown, and we know that, you know, you have this in the Himalayan range as well. And then yogurt. So these are some of these anxiety relieving foods. And I think the other thing about, you know, young adults in the Himalaya is we know the other food that can actually cause anxiety, especially if you're sensitive to it, is alcohol. All right. So in the Himalaya, you know, you have this ethnic rich, what do you call it, ethnic food, which are fermented, and they produce alcohol. So I do think that may be a cause, if you can't find any other cause of anxiety, that your daily staple of eating fermented food. So you have to be aware that maybe you need to cut down on those fermented alcoholic foods, and probably choose the non-fermented one. And I think it's a good thing that you don't drink so much caffeine there, right? I think you drink a lot of to teach. Okay, and sometimes when we have stories going there, and I think we learn from our medical mission into the Himalayas. Sometimes we bring coffee and all, which is actually not so healthy because it's kind of a stimulant, and it also can increase anxiety if you drink too much coffee, right? Yeah. So yeah, I think that's about it. And of course, there are other good fruit like oats, banana, which can actually increase the serotonin, one of the neurotransmitters that can actually give you good mood. And those contain what we call an amino acid called tryptophan, where they can actually, convert to more of this feel good hormones, and that would also reduce your anxiety. So you can choose the appropriate food, and not just be influenced by a emotion and just eat. And I think it's because sometimes of the Western culture. I mean, some adult with this um, world which is no more boundaries through the internet and all. We tend to see all this fast food, um, and a lot of fried Kentucky Fried Chicken. Those are a lot of hydrogenated or trans fat, they call it, and those are not good because they increase your inflammatory markers, cytokines, and that's actually not good, and that affects anxiety in a way. So,
Thank you very much. This is very valuable information, but we will come back after the meditation. Then a lot of people can join in for discussion. And today we have Dr. Leong Kim Fong, who is a pediatric dermatologist. Today is World Eczema Day, right? Dr. Leong, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello, my good friend.
Hi. We can only meet online now because of
Finally.
yeah.
Okay, Doc, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So most of the young people who suffer from anxiety and depression normally suffer from skin diseases.
Yeah.
Is there a direct connection between these two?
Yeah, I think just like what Dr. Casey has highlighted, that one form of social anxiety, one form of anxiety is social anxiety, and skin is our natural clothes. This is the first part of our skin will be facing people. So any people or kids or adolescents with skin problem, they are prone to social anxiety. For example, you have a lot of pimples on my face, or I have eczema on my skin that infected, almost immediately people will feel, hey, is it going to be infectious? So the child tends to get away from the society. So there is a danger that kids with eczema, with acne, they have a bit of social isolation, and they may end up with social anxiety over time if they are not properly managed accordingly. And coming back to another form of anxiety called panic attack. I think Cheng also remember that we were in Qinghai and also in Zone Valley. We have encountered quite a number of kids, including the young monk and nun, that ended up with hyperventilation disorder. Because at the very high altitude, because of the low oxygen, if at the same time they are the high achiever in their academic school, and they tends to have this very shallow breathing. When you do shallow breathing, you are not getting enough oxygen, but you exhale a lot of carbon dioxide. So at the end of the day, you end up with numbness, and the worst part is that may end up with spasm of the hand, and people thought these kids get evil spirit get into them, their mind. And we encountered at least 3 or 4. In fact, one of them is considered kind of an emergency. Middle of the night when we were in our mission camp, we were called to attend one of the young monks that having this hyperventilation attack. Maybe Cassie later can explain. This could be one of the common manifestation in the Highlander boys and girls, that in which the treatment is to put a plastic bag there, make sure that inhale back the carbon dioxide they exhale, so that they will normalize back their carbon dioxide level in the blood. Yeah. So just coming back to the skin problem, as already mentioned just now, skin and social anxiety is closely linked, firstly. And secondly, once you have a skin problem like eczema, you tend to have more stress, and this is like a vicious cycle. The more stress you become, the cortisol and all the stress hormone get elevated. This will exacerbate the existing skin problem. And when the skin problem get worsened, then the stress will become another factor. So it's a vicious cycle, will go on and on. So at the end of the day, if they don't know how to handle it, they'll end up with social anxiety and social isolation. But fortunately, all these problems, you can manage the skin problem. Means that the primary cause of the anxiety, you still can do something with medication to remove the trigger. The problem is that a lot of time it's not because of an organic problem, it's due to inorganic problem that is day-to-day challenges, the financial stress that put them into the anxiety stage. So this briefly about the relationship about the skin and the anxiety. Just want to add on one thing that just now we mentioned, that what kind of condition that we need to rule out, organic cause that we need to rule out when you have anxiety is hyperthyroidism. Sometimes they have a very high thyroid hormone, and this group of patients, they always have this tremor, sweat a lot, they easily get anger and irritated, and they have palpitation. Sometimes could be due to underlying organic cause instead of an inorganic cause, but often it's not due to organic cause, but you still need to rule out hyperthyroid. That may be one of the reasons why they end up with anxiety attack and anxious problem. Yeah.
Thanks, Dr. Leong. Can I book you for workshop 4?
Yeah. For about what?
About this.
What? Yeah. Okay.
Anxiety,
Sure.
because we are going to talk about depression, anxiety, and anger. These 3
Yeah.
topics only in this platform.
Yeah.
So before we go into like the stage that we have to seek help from the 3 doctors, can we agree that meditation helps?
Definitely.
Definitely, right? So now we go back to Rinpoche. Rinpoche, are you there? Rinpoche, are you there? Is Rinpoche there now? Is Rinpoche back in here?
Yeah. I'm back.
Rinpoche,
Yeah.
finally. Okay, Rinpoche,
Yeah,
now we
sorry.
are going back. No problem. I know that you are in Shimla and the Wi-Fi, everything is very, very weak. Yes.
Yes.
Rinpoche, now I have to go back to from the start, the beginning. Last week, Rinpoche taught us about the meditation of impermanence and meditation on precious human body. And Rinpoche separated the meditation into 2 parts. Each part lasted 2 minutes, 30 seconds. So many guests actually, and especially the young guests who have never done a meditation before, they don't understand the difference between these 2. What should they do during the meditation for impermanence and meditation for precious human body? So can Rinpoche help to explain?
So yes, now I'm going to talk about this precious human body and impermanent. So these 2 are very important to our life. We need to realize and we need to understand what's the precious woman, what's the impermanent. So here I will tell you something about here. Uh, actually, the Buddha said that all material are impermanent. That is the change from like moment to moment. Materials don't refer only to things which is like car and houses, but includes all things such as uh, forests and like oceans, then uh, also animals, uh, even insect. Uh, then as well as our bodies and minds, all of mention are constantly changing and do not remain the same from one moment to the next. This is not isn't it, yeah, what Buddha said, but the fact of life and the law of nature. If we do not understand the truth of impermanence, our emotions become attached to the people and materials, uh, hoping them to remain the same and last forever and become very depressed. When they are gone, making ourselves understand the impermanence will free us from a great deal of suffering, and this meditation will help us to understand impermanence. So, sit in comfortable positions. You may cross your leg and sit on the floor or chair. If you have a knee or leg joint injuries, you may sit on the chairs. Sit with your back straight and relax your forehead and neck, shoulder, arms, stomach, and the whole body. Then spend some time letting your mind, settle down in the present moment. You may give yourself a very good reason to do this meditation. For example, tell yourself, may this meditations uh, lead me to calmness and happiness, and I wish to help other beings become free of suffering and obtain inner peace. Keep your mind focused on your own body now. Then slowly you breathe in and out, and observing your breathing, and slowly become aware of the impermanence of your breathing. Each breath is different from the one that came before it, and it is different from the one that your body is changing with each breath. There are different sensations around the nose, your lungs expand, contract, your abdomen rise and falls. So in each moment with each breath, there is a change. Changes symbolize impermanence. Spend a few seconds simply observing the ever-changing flow of thought in your mind, like watching a movie. Don't cling to anything that you see in your mind. Don't judge or make comments. Just observe and try to notice the impermanent, ever changing nature of your mind. Uh, when your mind or attention starts to wander again, return to observe the impermanence nature of things or focus on our breathing. Yes.
Rinpoche, sorry everyone, because Rinpoche's
Yeah.
line is breaking up, may I read again what Rinpoche said just now, so that everybody will be
Okay.
on the same page, so that we can go to meditation for 5 minutes. Please allow me. Okay, everybody sit in a comfortable position.
Okay.
You may cross your legs and sit on the floor or chair. If you have knee or leg joint injuries, you may sit on the chair. Sit with your back straight and relax your forehead, neck, shoulder, arms, stomach, and the whole body. Spend some time letting your mind settle down in the present moment. You may give yourself a very good reason to do this meditation. For example, tell yourself, may this meditation lead me to calmness and happiness, and I wish to help other beings become free of suffering and obtain inner peace. Keep your mind focused on your body now. Slowly you breathe in and out and observing your breathing, and slowly become aware of the impermanence of your breathing. Each breath is different from the one that came before it, and is different from the one that comes after it. You are breathing in different air with each breath, and your body is changing with each breath. There are different sensations around the nose and the inside the nostrils. Your lungs expand and contract. Your abdomen rises and falls. So in each moment, with each breath, there is change. Spend a few seconds simply observing the ever-changing flow of your thoughts in your mind. Like watching a movie. Don't cling to anything that you see in your mind. Don't judge or make comments. Just observe and try to notice the impermanent, ever-changing nature of your mind. When your attention starts to wander, again return to analyzing the impermanent nature of things or focus on your breathing. If you don't have any question, we may start the meditation. Don't worry about the timing. The admin will alert us with the sound of the gong. So right now, sit upright, close your eyes, relax. May we start. Now it is the end of the meditation session. So I believe that all of you feel calmer right now, and we'll go into the Q&A session. So you look at my backdrop, I mean anxiety. So this is a Q&A for Rinpoche and also for Miss Casey Chan. We have the first participant who is from India, and this question is for Rinpoche. She is Roshmi Tamang. Roshmi?
Hello, Rinpoche. Tashidile.
Yes, yes.
Rinpoche, I just wanted to know that this word emptiness, no? Can you kindly explain me in a simple way so that I can understand, not in a broader way, in a Buddhist context, but in a very simple way?
Okay, yeah.
With example,
Actually,
if possible, so that it can go straight in my mind, you know?
okay, yeah, yes. Actually, you know, emptiness, we are talking about emptiness. So what we believe is, you know, in Buddhism, whatever you seeing, you know, is all emptiness. Especially, you know, like if you have any kind of desire, you know, like attachment, anger, jealous, pride, you know. Actually, this all nothing, you know. What Buddha said is this all, you know, it's illusion. We call illusion, you know. So it's not like nothing to grasping, you know. Actually, sometimes we are grasping to like this afflictive emotions we have here. We have lots of afflictive emotions. This all we have to transform into the emptiness. If I, you know, tell you about simple way, you know,
Okay.
but it's not easy to practice, but you will try, you know, you will try every day to practice on meditation, like impermanent and precious human body. So, you know, you do this every day, then you can slowly, you can understand, and you will be realize on yourself. You can get your own experience. What is anger, you know? Normally, we are saying some people shows you angry, or people say bad thing you, whatever, you know. Really, we are difficult to accept these things, yeah. So we are saying we have to do a patient, but we are trying to do a patient. So, but we sometimes we cannot, you know, because of our like a
Whole habit pattern, maybe.
grasping, you know. Yeah. Yes.
So can we go on to the question number 2? So this question is for Miss Casey Chiang.
Thank you.
Sorry, Roshmi will come back to you after all the participants have asked the question. Then we'll open up the floor and then we will discuss everything again. So question 2 is for Miss Casey Chiang, and the guest is Angel Ang Li Fang from University UPM Malaysia. Are you there?
Yes, thank you, Miss Adeline. Thank you, Miss Adeline. So I would like to ask that, how do we actually can explain to people around us about how we feel so they understand it, so they don't think that we are being too dramatic?
Hi, Angel. Dramatic. Are you referring to anxiety? Angel, are you there?
Yes, I'm referring to anxiety disorder.
Okay, so what
Yes,
you're
I'm
saying,
there.
so when you're feeling anxious, how do you explain to your friend
Yes.
that you're undergoing some anxiety, right?
Yeah.
I would say the first thing to do when you're feeling anxiety is to see how you can manage the anxiety first. Because when you're anxious, it's difficult to articulate yourself. The mind is not clear. So when you're feeling anxious, do something to calm yourself down. Okay, there are a couple of things that you can do. One of the things is actually breathing. If you slow down your breath, when you feel that your anxiety is coming, slow down your breath, especially the out breath. A normal in breath and a slow out breath. So it kind of settle you down a little bit. This is one way. Another way is to find an anchor, to bring your attention to a certain part of your body, like feeling your feet on the ground. That's usually helpful because you feel yourself anchored on the floor. That is another way. So once you are a little bit settled, then your mind is probably clearer. And when you want to talk to your friend, right? The important thing is to be clear, what is it that you want to tell your friend, okay? General guideline, you can express your feeling. You can tell your friend that I'm feeling really anxious. So I don't quite know his situation. So for example, it is you're going into, let's say you're going to do a presentation, for example, and you're feeling really, really anxious. So you can tell a friend, I'm feeling really anxious. I'm really worried about it, Now, the next thing is, I would suggest that you be very clear. Is there any request that you need from your friend? Sometimes when we are anxious, we would want to be left alone. So make a clear request that I'm feeling really anxious now. I would like to have, I would like to have some time on my own. I hope it is okay. It is okay for you. Or sometimes, if your request is you want your friend to stay with you, you tell your friend, I'm feeling really, really anxious. I would really appreciate if you just stay with me and just let me calm down for a while. So be clear of what is your request to your friend. Yeah. Hope I answer your question, Angel.
Yes, thank you, Miss Chang. You answered my question.
Most welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Angel. And stay there, don't leave. We're going to have a group photo after the session ends. So the third one is from Bhutan. This question is for Rinpoche. Satrim Dewa. Are you there?
Yes, La.
Good.
Greetings to His Eminence Rinpoche, Adeline and team, to guest speakers, and to all the participants. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for granting the audiences. And I am from Bhutan and a recent graduate. And my question is, from what I've realized is the root causes, one of the root causes of being unhappy or being anxious or being in trouble frequently is because of being absent in the present moment. And we are either in the past or in the future, so we are barely in the present moment. So I wanted to know how to be mindful in the present moment, Larumuch, so that we can worry, so that we don't have to worry unnecessarily. Thank you.
Yeah. So what is your main caution, please? Happiness? Sorry.
Oh, okay. Sasim Dewa, can you
Excuse me.
repeat your question? Yeah, Rinpoche lost. He couldn't hear you just now. Sasim Dewa, can you please repeat your question?
My question is how to be mindful in the present moment.
Mindfulness. Mindful. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
May I interrupt?
Okay.
Rinpoche, maybe, sorry, her question would be how to be mindful in the present moment. That means we stay mindful, how to keep our mind at the present moment.
Okay. So mindful, keep in the present moment means, it's related to the our happiness. Always, people want to be happiness, doesn't want any suffering. So this all, related to the our like what you are doing in the present moment. Some present moment. Actually, in this world or this samsara, whatever we call, it's everything is full of really suffering. So looks, materialism thing or whatever, it looks like very nice and very beautiful. Whatever you see, seeing. So most important present moment is you try to do really how to be happy. Happy. Sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are unhappy. We have this problem really, every time we have this problem. That's why we are saying, impermanent, changing. So actually, most important, you need love to yourself. First, first you try to do yourself. Actually, we are saying, in the Buddhism, Dharma, we are saying you have to expand love to everybody. Good motivations. But which is we need it. But first, do your how to be a good human being. How to heart, kind heart to others and yourself. Observe yourself, which is very important. This is the really daily life. We need it. Otherwise, sometimes we are thinking present moment. Present moment means like at the moment, a few minutes of people are looking happy, try to do some watching TV or and movie, doing these things. This is also very good. We need it really, we need it. This is also we call a materialism thing. We need. But most important, we need to understand, what is the important thing we need in our life, daily life. Daily life, we need to do, some mantra of, taught on this Tara. You can also you can set a amount of story, life story. If possible, you can read every day how she is. Then also you decide a month of Tara. Then you will become body more like a Tara. Your speech be like a Tara. Then your mind also become like Tara, which is full of the compassion mind. Speech, we are not talking unnecessary talk to other, we are talking good things, positive things. So then if you recite the mantra, of course your speech also become the same like a Tara, it's Tara blessing to you. So this is the like method of to increase your love, compassion. So if you have a love and compassion, then of course you have a present moment, you have a happiness. Always, you have happiness. Yes.
Okay, Rinpoche, because your line is breaking up, I hope Trujim Dewa got the answer. If not, it is okay. We will come back to you in a short while. So, okay, this is a very interesting question. And this question is for Miss Casey Chiang. Lungten Wangchuk Kama from Bhutan. Are you there? Hi.
Sorry, it took some time to unmute myself.
Yes.
So,
okay. I find that you have a very interesting question that everyone wants to listen to the answer. So please.
Okay. I'm really interested to know more about mental health and mental well-being. So this question is regarding something that has a dramatic impact on our own mental health, and it is our relationship, our love life. So when we are kind of involved in romantic relationship, especially girlfriend, boyfriend these days, I feel that it is really important to know that the relationship has a drastic impact on our own well-being. So my question is, when we are stuck in a very toxic relationship, when our partner is always trying to dominate our well-being, dominate our actions, dominate our thoughts, it kind of have like a dramatic impact on our moods, our emotions, everything. So my question is, how can we get out of such a toxic relationship when we are stuck into it? Because it is really difficult.
How to get out? That's the question.
Yeah.
So you want to get out,
or is it? Is there any other way if we cannot get out of it?
Go for couple therapy. Okay, yeah. So can I understand that what you're saying is the relationship is difficult, is toxic, and is affecting your well-being? I would believe that it's affecting the well-being of both person in the couple. Yeah.
Yep.
And it is difficult to get out. Is that the question?
Yeah, it's difficult.
It's difficult to get out. Yeah. I would say, like, without going into detail, the first thing is understand the difficulty. What is it? When say you want to get out, that means there is an urge to get out. So there must be something that stops you from getting out. So what is it that is stopping you from getting out? You need to kind of understand the obstacles So there could be some consequences that stop us. So we need to understand the consequences, whether these consequences are real, are these our own imagination, or there is something to do with us avoiding facing the difficult things, because it's natural, like I mentioned, in anxiety, human being, somehow we are wired to avoid unpleasant things. So are we trying to avoid certain things that is very unpleasant? That's why we do not want to take action. So we kind of avoid facing it. Yeah. So maybe what in general, without knowing the detail, I think it is really important to look at it very clearly. What is really going on in this relationship? What is toxic about this relationship? Understand the issue, understand the problem. Yeah, couple issue is very complicated because when two persons come together, it's not just two individuals. These two persons actually bring with them their history, bring with them their culture, bring with them their value, their family. So it's actually quite complicated. Yeah. I can't give you a very specific answer. I hope I give you an idea.
Thank you so much.
You're
It was a
most
beautiful
welcome.
answer.
Yeah, thank you. So now we are having Mamta Tapa from India, and this question is for Rinpoche. Mamta, are you there?
Yes. Hello. Am I audible?
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Am I audible? Yeah. First of all, namaskar. I'm from India, Sikkim. Okay. Before asking my question, I would extend my warm thanks to Shravasti Learning Garden for youth session 2, and I felt very opportunate to be a part of it. I would like to extend my thanks to Madam Adeline and our organizer Roshni Tamang. So she made me to be the part of this session. So this session from the beginning till now, I was the part of it, and I have learned many valuable things from this session. Where when we talk about the speakers of house, like Lama Tashi spoke about the purpose of life, it was really straight and clear view which he has portrayed to us, and where we have already learned about Lin Lee from Korea. He spoke about the situation where we have a bad and good situation, how to overcome it. It was also very remarkable, and in between we had meaning of this Green Tara's mantra, Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Swaha, where Rinpoche has explained it in a very well manner. So at last we had all psychiatrists from the different field where they have spoke about anger, anxiety, and depression. And I felt that to attend this meeting, it was really worthwhile for me. So now I would like to go to my question, and my question is how one can live happy always in spite of having lots of troubles in life. Thank you.
Rinpoche, if you can hear me, can you please unmute yourself? Because from here we see that you are muted. Rinpoche, yes.
So, what's your main question, please? You make a conclusion.
My question, is that so how one can stay always happy, staying in trouble. So like we talk about
Okay.
happiness all the time, but we know that people are suffering from lots of things in their day-to-day life, but still we have to stay happy. So can I have that answer, please?
Okay. Yes, it's true, yeah, you want a happy life, which is very important, really. But
Yes.
happy how to keep happy in your daily life. So, if you get some problems and something suffering, so first you have to think of that, suffering. You have to analyze the suffering. So once you analyze of the suffering, then slowly you will get a happiness. So mostly, we're not thinking of our suffering. We are saying, oh, I want, because that's why we are always saying it's impermanent. Everything is not permanent. Everything is not stable.
Okay.
Yeah, everything is
Yes,
changing.
true.
Moment and moment. Yeah. Yeah. So if you want to be a very happiness, so you try to really sometimes read a book of which like Buddha teaching, So nowadays also there are very some like many like His Holiness many books, some is very easy to understand. So and also some other Rinpoches have many, they wrote many books. So you can read a book and you can also do some chant, reciting a mantra or manipem, which also help really. And most important is which I told you, yeah. First you have to observe this all suffering, Yeah, so problems. When it comes to problems, you have to think about that problems, where it comes.
Okay.
Everything is not permanent. Yeah, everything is, if you then slowly you will realize it. This is like a life is very long. Yeah, life is very long. Really, we can get a many happening in our life. Sometimes happy, sometimes unhappy, sometimes different kind of suffering, problems. So, but most important is, which I told you, I already mentioned in Thara,
Yes.
So you see, if you practice on a Thara, you see, Thara, she have a love and compassion. So you see, for example, a Thara, many people, follow the Thara, because of she is benefiting to many people. Same like this, you can do Thara, you can do practice, different kind. Then sometimes really most important is need to understand, causes of suffering. We, also believe in karma, Sometimes we think about karma. Karma is important. Yeah. Sometimes really in the life, it's really, we have a full of, we can say, like suffering really. A lot of
Suffering,
suffering.
miseries.
We have,
Yeah.
we need to challenge of the suffering, this life. Then, yeah, most important, you need to be, keep balance in your life.
Yes.
Sometimes, problems comes to you, then people will do, some different thing, Yeah.
Yes.
So you have to understand. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Rinpoche. So because
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. So we
Thanks a
have
lot.
a last question before we open it up to the floor, and please stay with us Be patient. Be patient is one of the very, very basic practice. Today we are, this forum dragged a little bit long, but everybody learns every minute, something new. So right now we have another person. This question is for Miss Casey Chiang. He's Lee Kalim from Malaysia. Lee, are you there? Lee, are you there? I think tonight the line is pretty weak. So can we put Lee Carlin back on
Hello.
seat? Hi.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes.
Yes, I'm here. Hi, everyone. So my question today to doctor is how to control emotion when we anger. Because some people will angry until they get burst out in tears lah.
Okay. Hello. Yeah. So,
Hello.
so your question, your question is how to control anger.
Yeah.
Okay. A very simple answer is don't control anger, but control your behavior. Now, anyway, what I understood your word control is suppress. I think it's very natural. Most people, when they feel angry, they want to suppress their anger, right? But emotion is not something that we can express. Yeah, there is no right or wrong about an emotion. Normally, things goes wrong is because of the action following an emotion. Yeah, so the first thing is to shift the mindset that there is nothing wrong. There is no right, no wrong emotion. And so, what is emotion? Emotion actually gives us a message on, especially negative emotion, is telling us that something is not right. Yeah, and if you talk about anger, anger is telling us that we are hurt. There's a possibility, when somebody said something nasty to you, you may be hurt. Anger could be also something that we want to achieve, but we can't. So it is an intense frustration. And a lot of times anger comes from fear. Yeah, so this is a very natural human instinct. Again, it goes back to fight or flight. When we think that there is a danger, we have a fear, one of the reaction could be also anger. Yeah. So understand first, where does that anger come from? So I give you an example. Like, let's say you are angry when, let's say you are driving, and you're driving, you are in a hurry, you are going to be late for your appointment, and then a car just kind of cut in, right? You feel angry, right? And what made you angry is your interpretation of the situation. Yeah, your interpretation could be that, you are so inconsiderate, you are posing danger to us. Then you feel angry, right? However, if you can kind of reappraise the situation, right? If you think that, oh, this guy is probably sending someone in the car who is very sick to go to the hospital, I think the emotion will change. See? Yeah. So one way is to reappraise the situation. So if you want to talk about step by step, first thing is shift your mind, Anger, there's no right or wrong. Okay? It is an emotion. So I need to understand my emotion. But I need to control my behavior because I cannot start shouting and yelling or hitting at people. So first thing is noticing that I am angry, aware that I am angry. Once you're aware that you're angry, you can do something about it. You can do some breathing, can do some pause, to kind of again, I like to use the term anchor, yeah, and have some clarity of the mind. And the second thing is you appraise the situation. Yeah. What is it that I interpret it as that make me angry? And see whether you can see the situation differently or not. Yeah. All else fail, right? Just walk away. Go somewhere, relax yourself before you act on it. I hope I kind of give you some guide, yeah, on managing anger.
Thank you. So right now I would like, thanks, Casey. I learned a lot today too from you. Okay, right now I would like to open to the floor for another, if not too late, another 10 minutes or so. And whoever wants to ask question, raise your hand, then we will let you in. Anyone? Today we have almost 85 participants. Any questions on the floor, or that's...
Yes, I have one question. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
It is to Miss Casey Jiang. Hello. Good evening there. Thank you so much, Rumichala, for giving this opportunity. Thank you to everyone out there. My question, as being a teacher and as being a parent, I would like to ask a few tips, if you could give me a few tips which would help me to understand my students properly, so that I would be able to help them to cope up with their emotions, with their emotional well-being, mental well-being.
You're talking about your students?
I'm as a teacher.
You're a teacher.
And as a parent. Yes.
And also parents. How old are your students?
My students are from the age of 10 till 16.
Oh, teenagers. Okay. And
yes, teenagers. I'm basically talking about the adolescents here.
Adolescents. So you're dealing with adolescents. Your children too are adolescents.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Few tips. Wow, this is quite general. I would say that active listening with adolescents is very important. Yeah, listen to them before reacting, and that is one thing that need to be done for active listening. Is we need to understand our script in our head. Now, script meaning that some kind of a preconceived idea about the person. Okay, so let's say you have a student in your class that is usually a bit naughty. Okay, yeah, so we have a script in our head, that this is a naughty boy. Yeah, so we need to be aware that we have this script, because this script will affect the way we react to the person when the person behave. We will jump into conclusion. Yeah, so in order to be able to actively listen and to understand the person, we need to be aware of our own script in our head, whether we have any prejudice of the person. So self-awareness is the first thing. Being a mother or being a teacher, self-awareness. Like mindful parenting, there's program on mindful parenting, there's program on mindful teacher. These are mindfulness program to help to cultivate awareness. I think that is self. So I guess the first thing is to self. Yeah.
On that note, what you said about just now, that is mindfulness practice, where as a teacher, are we perfect enough, or are we eligible enough to console the adolescents on the basis of mindfulness?
Not to teach them mindfulness, but to practice mindfulness ourselves, so that we know what's going on inside us. That is the first thing. Yeah. We take care of ourselves before we take care of them. Yeah, teaching teenagers mindfulness is not easy. I teach teenagers mindfulness. It's a different way of teaching them. The second thing probably I can say is now adolescents, they are at the stage of wanting to have some kind of autonomy, that they want to have, they want to, you know, to make decision, you know. So as a
Yes,
parents, allowing them to make decision, but with a certain boundary, clear boundary, I think is important. As parents, we tend to be protective, yeah. So this is something that parents need to again to learn, like how much can we let the child take risks, you know, because when they take risks, they learn. Yeah. So for adolescents, it will be like within a boundary, but allowing them, you know, to have the space to be able to make their own decision. And this is good for them because it's life skill. Another thing is to be able to acknowledge their emotion. So sometimes when, let's say, a child come in, you know, adolescents, they are flustered, you know, they show a lot of emotion. We need to be patient and help them to label their emotion instead of going into their behavior. You know, why are you talking so loudly to me? You know, why are you being rude? You know, but the fact that they have certain emotion, if you acknowledge their emotion, like you can say things that, oh, I see you're really upset. Yeah, you're really angry today. You want to talk about it. So usually when a person is angry and another party kind of acknowledge your emotion, the person tend to calm down. Okay, so there is a term called name it to tame it. If you can name the emotion, you can tame the emotion. It's for self, and it's so for adolescents and for children. When you label it for them, you help them to tame their emotion. And for adolescents, if they say no, I don't want to talk about it, I think it's fine, you know, give them the space
They
as long
usually
as you
say
know that
that.
they are not in danger. Sorry?
They
Yeah.
usually say that. They don't want
Yeah.
to talk about
They don't
want
want
to
to
be
talk
open about
about
it.
it. They don't
Yes.
want to open, yeah. So you need to kind of give them the space. Like I said, if it's not, you know, if they're not in any dangerous situation or condition. So acknowledge their feeling, let them know that you understand how they feel, give them the space to calm them down. Yeah, this is what I can think of, you know, when you're dealing with adolescents. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So much. I hope
Thank
it
you.
helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we will allow one more person to ask question. Yeah. Anyone?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, ma'am. My question is for Dr. Casey Chen. And my question for her is how to stop overthinking. How do we stop overthinking? Or how to
Okay.
how to stop overthinking?
I think this question is very related to one question that was brought up just now about we tend to think of the past and the future. Yeah. So we tend to think. So I think psychologically we may want to understand why we think. So human has this ability to be able to think, to be able to think about what's going to happen in the future, so that we can kind of prevent any bad things from happen. We can kind of plan and do things the way we want it to be. And we also have the ability to think of the past because this is how we learn. You know, we have done something in the past. We kind of look at it, review, and see how well we did, any mistakes that we make. You know, we analyze so that we don't make the same mistake. Yeah. So this is our innate ability to grow, to develop, and to take care of ourselves in that sense. Yeah. But this ability, sometimes we take it a bit too far. So that is overthinking. Yeah. So there is a term called catastrophizing. Catastrophizing is when something happens, we tend to think of the worst case scenario. And we keep on going from one to another, to another, to another, and it got us into anxiety, into depression. Yeah, so I think that is the overthinking that you're talking about. And there's another term called rumination. Yeah, so mindfulness practice actually is very helpful. Now, mindfulness the one that I'm doing is called MBCT, Mindfulness-Based Cognitive Therapy. The principle in this MBCT is that we try to think our way out of a situation. Yeah, but sometimes when it's dealing with emotion, we can't think our way out. So we need to learn to create a distance between us and the thoughts. That means these thoughts are not real. These thoughts are not facts. Once you create a distance, we are not so emotionally affected by the thoughts. And definitely this one need to be practiced. Yeah, learning like being in the present moment is very helpful. Yeah, but because our innate ability of wanting to think of the future, we wanting to get certainty of what's going to happen, it can be a struggle to try to stay in the present. I think most of us, have this struggle to stay in the present. Yeah, so it's something that we need to kind of rewire ourselves and practice to be in the present. Yeah, this is just one way. There are a lot of other ways of restructuring the thoughts. Yeah, I hope it's helpful. You're welcome.
Okay. Right now, thank you very much. And because now it's almost like 10:45, so I believe that there are many of us. We see many hands, but can we leave it to the next workshop? It's getting late. Okay. So can you unmute everyone? Because we need to say thank you. Right. Thank you, Rinpoche, Miss Casey Chiang, Tashi, Sunim, Dr. Chung, Dr. Leong, and let us put our hands together to thank all of them for spending their time with us today and giving us such a meaningful teaching. And we'd like to have everybody say thank you. You are
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So if you like this workshop, remember to join for the next section, okay? Get more people to come in. And before we leave, can we have a group photo? Like before, everybody show a love sign like this. Can we do that? Spread the love. And then for those I think very shy, they use the video. They don't show their video. Can you do without the video? Let us see you as a person. Everybody is beautiful here, so don't worry that you don't comb your hair or don't put on makeup. You look at me. Same thing, because we're here to learn. This is not a beauty contest or something, okay? So okay, everybody, spirited. So beautiful. Rinpoche, Dr. Leong, please show your video too. Okay, are we done? Oh, so beautiful. So beautiful. Hi, Brian. Brian's from Malaysia, Penang. Okay, everybody done? Next week, we are going to have another Zoom conference, and we are going to invite another chief to talk about meditation. And then also we are going to invite young monks, fellow Buddhists, to give some good stories, to share some good stories. And then we would like to invite Dr. Chung Kek Siu. And if, let's say, Miss Casey Chiang and Dr. Leong, you are free, please join us and make this a learning garden for the young people, for us. Okay? So kindly write to shravastipest@gmail.com from the back of mine. And then to get your pass to get the Zoom for workshop 3. So here we go. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're going to end this session.
Thank you,
Hope you
everyone.
like it.
Good night.
Do you,
Thank you.
did you learn something?
I learned a lot.
Yes.
Yes, of course.
Yes, thank you
Yes,
guys.
a lot.
A lot.
Would you like to
Thank
have
you, everyone.
Rinpoche
Thank
and
you.
Miss Casey Chang to be back again?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, 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 of course.
Thank you, everyone.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So Sunim,
Thank
nice
you.
to meet you. Yes,
Thank you
over
guys.
here, and I hope that you
Thank you very
next
much,
workshop you can
everyone.
share another good story. And Rinpoche as well. I know that you are very tired. Every day you are on Zoom teaching. Thank you very much. You look very tired. You should have some rest. So okay, everybody. Good night.
Okay.
Have a
Good
blessed
night.
night.
Good night,
And
Good night.
Bye. Good night.
Everyone, thank you
Bye.
guys.
Thank you.
Good